Union as Donald and George. And I want to talk about, King said that justice is indivisible, meaning, like the sister said earlier, that an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Our union has always understood that the solidarity that workers must show in a struggle, any struggle, including the struggle here in Durham, where workers stood down and refused to move their trucks until they won a basic measure of dignity and respect. That solidarity doesn't stop at the borders of a department or a employer or a city or a state or a nation. We have more in common with workers in South Africa, in Mexico, in China, in Israel, Palestine, than we do with those employers who would exploit our labor for the profit of a few.
Right.
That's why King was right when he said that war is the enemy of the poor and the workers. He took a stand against the war in Vietnam in the face of great criticism. He said that there comes a time when silence is betrayal. We took a stand against the Vietnam War as well. We were the first union to do that. We're also the first union to take a stand in favor of a permanent ceasefire in the conflict in Gaza. And I'm happy to say that more and more unions are joining us. The United Auto Workers, the Painters Union, the National Nurses United, the flight attendants, the postal workers, and local unions all across this country that represent thousands of workers are coming together to say, just like King would have said, it's time. We don't get peace by dropping bombs on the heads of working people just like us. We need to take the money that's going into those bombs and put it toward housing and education and healthcare and things that people need. So justice is indivisible. That means that our struggles are connected and that the fight for workers' rights is the flip side of the fight for international solidarity, the fight for peace. King also, we know, stood with striking workers in the right to organize, most famously in Memphis in '68. Those workers were striking when the state or the law didn't sanction their right to strike, not unlike workers here in Durham, who are fighting against the law here in North Carolina, which, as we know, says you don't have the right to collectively bargain if you're a public worker, in violation of every international law out there. But let me tell you something, when you have a situation where you're working for a city and you can't afford to send your kids to school there, you can't afford to live there, you can't afford to recreate in the parks that you maintain or drink the water that you maintain, it's time to start disobeying some unjust laws. So that's exactly why we need to follow their lead, the lead of the Durham workers. Whether we work at Amazon, or whether we work at McDonald's or Subway, or the local university, or the city of Durham, or wherever you work, exercise your right to come together with your coworkers and show that solidarity and organize and fight for what you deserve. That's the example we want to take for today.